Alright guys, AshbyFC here, and welcome to another Game Pickups episode. This is episode number 7, and this is definitely the best episode yet, because this is a retro special. Mostly Nintendo retro special. Because, well, I've not really been buying many retro games lately. And yeah, the collection isn't growing. It's really small, and I really need to get to work on it. As expensive as it is, and goddamn is it expensive! Because, man, those prices just get higher and higher every year, you know, but, yeah, so anyway, yeah, retro special. I did get a little bit of a bonus from work, so I thought, I'll treat myself a little bit. Now, there is a reasonable amount of money spent here, but actually there isn't quite as much money as you might think, because I once again got myself some good deals on eBay, some lucky bids and what have you, so yeah. But yeah, this is pretty awesome, and I'm pretty excited to show you some of this stuff. So without further ado, let us begin. So while the rest of the games are all Nintendo, I have got a couple of Dreamcast games to show you actually. Haven't picked any Dreamcast games up in a long while. I think this brings my collection to a total of 6 Dreamcast games. Yeah, although that beats my 1 Game Boy game, 1 Game Boy Color game, and 1 Game Boy Advance game. So, yeah, really gotta work on this collection. But yeah, Dreamcast, fantastic console. I've probably said this on the channel sometime before, but I think it's probably the most underrated console of all time, and such a shame that thing failed. It really is. Everyone I ever knew who had a Dreamcast, and I don't know a lot of people that had a Dreamcast. I was one of the few people amongst my friends that had one, but everyone I've ever met who had a Dreamcast, they've always said the same thing, you know, how underrated it was and how much they loved it. But anyway, as for the couple of games I got, nothing really special here. They were dirt cheap, but I got Sonic Adventure. Well, actually, I got the case. There's actually no disc. I've got the loose disc somewhere. I've just got to find it. But I rebought the case because when my other case broke. Because you'll know if you've ever owned a Dreamcast or ever breathed on a Dreamcast case that these are probably the most fragile piece of shit ever made. You've got to be so careful. Like, honestly, if I cough now, this would explode and shatter into another dimension. They crack so easily. Shut up, phone. And the hinges break. The teeth on the CD holder, they snap. They're terrible. Absolute garbage. You got to be so careful. So, yeah, technically it is just a case, but whatever. I already got the disc. Knowing me, I probably won't be able to find the disc. I'll have to buy the disc again, but yeah, this game's super cheap. Always has been. It was a launch game for the Dreamcast. Big deal, I guess, back in the day, you know, first 3D Sonic. And, you know, it's a launch game. It's a big one to have for the Dreamcast, and I was super excited for it. I remember so many great memories. I thought it was amazing when I played this. I can't remember how old I would have been. I'm still a kid, you know. But I'll be 100% honest with you, going back and playing this now, it hasn't aged well. I really don't think it has. Same with Sonic Adventure 2, although I think Sonic Adventure 2 is the better game, but I just don't think this game's that great anymore. It's just one of those games that seemed so much better back in the day. It's not bad, by any means, but when I really step back and take a look at the 3D Sonic games, I honestly believe Sega have never been able to truly nail 3D Sonic. There's been good 3D Sonic games. There's never been like amazing 3D Sonic games. There's 2 standouts for me: Sonic Colors, which was surprisingly good on the Wii, and Sonic Generations, which obviously a lot of that was the nostalgia, and they both mix 2D and 3D, but I just don't think Sega's ever been able to properly nail it. I just don't think they have. Sonic's just always been better suited to 2D. It's just the way it is. Anyway, yeah, that's Sonic Adventure. Sorry, hopping on way too much there. It's only 1 game shown. The other game I got, this just popped up in the recommended on eBay. WWF Royal Rumble. I think one of the only, maybe the only WWF exclusive game on the Dreamcast, and it's a bag of shit. It's one of the worst wrestling games I've played. I never owned it back in the day. I had a friend had it, played it at his house. Even then, I thought it was crap. It's just, there's nothing to it. You've got, like, it was originally an arcade game, and it was ported to the Dreamcast. Works an arcade game, not as a console game, you know, which I imagine it probably sold for full price. I think it's got 2 game modes, like Exhibition and Royal Rumble. That's it. I don't even think there was a creator wrestler. There's no like season mode or anything. and it was really clunky and clumsy looking. I don't remember them being really many moves. The commentary was awful, they just repeated the same lines, even worse than today's commentary. And the funny thing is, right, I mean, it's called Royal Rumble, that's its theme, you know, the Royal Rumble match, which has been going since, what, 88, was it, the first Royal Rumble? You know, traditional 30-man over-the-top rope match. The problem was this, I think it only had, like, what, like 21, 22 superstars in a 30-man Royal Rumble? So, wrestlers who've been eliminated have to come back in, so you could have your 30 men. What a fuck up, how do you mess that up? But yeah, crap game, but mega cheap, so why not? Alright, so those are the two Dreamcast games, the two Sega games. The rest, it's all Nintendo. So let's begin. So we'll start with NES. Yes, picked up some NES games. So this brings my NES game total to 5. It's not much of a collection, is it? It really isn't. But anyway, this first game I got for you right here. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles on the NES. Yes, that's Hero Turtles because that's what it was called here in the UK, not Ninja Turtles, although I always referred to them as the Ninja Turtles because they were Ninja Turtles. That's how the theme went as well. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. That's I don't know. But yeah, I had this as a little kid. This would have been amongst one of the first video games I ever played. And it's one of the hardest games I've ever played. This was classic NES hard, just absolutely brutal. I could never get far, but I do remember enjoying it though. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. I know it's been on an episode of Angry Video Game Nerd, but yeah, it's just super hard. You know, as I've said in the past, kids these days, they don't know what a hard game is. You see them crying about Dark Souls and Demon Souls and, you know, the latest Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, saying the hardest games ever. Not even close. Not even close. Yes, they stand out amongst today's watered down, streamlined games that hold your hand, you know, tell you exactly where to go, auto saves every 3 seconds, save whenever you want, all that stuff. Back then, no. Try playing an NES game and tell me those are still hard. These games were brutal and they were mean and they were cheap. And there was, you know, there was no saving for most of them. You died, you lost your lives, you started all over again. That's the way it was. Part of my childhood right here. Very early days of my gaming. Ninja Turtles. Also on NES, I got Super Mario Bros. 2. I did not own this on the NES. I did not play Super Mario Bros. 2 until the All-Stars version, which came on Super Nintendo, because that game came with Super Nintendo. It was like a compilation of like remade Mario games. And yeah, I was never a massive fan of this game. I wasn't very good at it either, because we all know now it wasn't the actual proper Mario. This was originally a game called Doki Doki Panic, I think. They just changed it and added the Mario characters in and stuff. Because the original Mario, which we did get in the All-Stars version, which was called The Lost Levels, it was insanely hard. I mean, Mario has always had its difficulty in there, especially the earlier 2D ones, but Japan thought that the actual Super Mario Bros. 2 would be way too hard for the West, and it just wasn't right to release it, so we got this version instead. But yeah, I've never really been a fan. This is the worst Mario, in my opinion. Just... I don't think it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I just never really got into this. But yeah, there it is. And finally on NES, Super Mario Bros. 3. Did have this as a kid. Again, one of the first video games I ever played on the NES. Loved it. Played the crap out of it. Brilliant game. Still one of the greatest platforms of all time. One of the most. This has got to be one of the most revolutionary games as well, hasn't it? You know, just brilliant. I never did beat it on the NES back in the day. I have since, obviously, but again, it wasn't until the All-Stars version where I finally managed to beat it. So I was a little bit older and I was a bit better at games at this point, but yeah, brilliant. Super Mario Bros. 3. As you may notice, I got these plastic cases on these. If you're a collector yourself, these are worth getting for like the Nintendo games with the card cases. You can get them on eBay. They're just, you know, I mean, they made a card, so they're easy to squash and tear and rip and, you know, stain them or whatever, water damage. So yeah, I think it's a good idea to put them in these. Preserve them. So yeah, you can get them for all NES, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, N64. So yeah, that completes my Mario collection as well, because there's Mario Bros. 1, which I've had for quite a while, the original. So yeah. Anyway, let's quickly move on. One Super Nintendo game I've got right here, and that is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. I loved this back in the day, the sequel to the original Super Mario World, which again was an amazing game, big part of my childhood. That game's very expensive. I will get it one day, but it's one of the more expensive ones, and yeah, trying to find it in the box, because this is the thing with me. I've got to have the games in the box in pretty good condition. If it's missing a manual, that's fine, or you know, the inserts or whatever. But you know, I've got to have a reasonably conditioned box. Got big tears on it or big rips. Yeah, I can't just have the cartridges. Got to have the box, which makes it hard to find and more expensive. But that's the way it's got to be for me. But yeah, a lot of great memories. I didn't own this, but I used to rent it from Blockbusters. I mean, I'd get it out a few times because I couldn't get it beaten. I remember finally beat it, and I was so proud of myself. But I had a lot of fond memories, and I replayed it a few years back. I think the Game Boy Advance version, because they re-released some of the Mario games, didn't they? And like 3 of them. Was it? I think Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and this. I think I could be wrong. I'm replaying it, and I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as I remember it being. But I've not played this for some years now, so I need to go back and check it out. Was this one of the first games you played as Yoshi? Because you actually do play as Yoshi in this, because it's Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. Even though it's a sequel, it's kind of a prequel, you know, because Mario and Luigi are babies. But yeah, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Then we got, what do we else? We got Yoshi's Story after that, and you know, Yoshi's gone on to have a few of his own games. So yeah. Anyway, the rest are Nintendo 64. So first off, another wrestling game, WWF Attitude. This is actually the American copy. That was my mistake. I wasn't looking properly. I just saw the cheap price. Didn't pay any much attention to the actual picture. I just sort of looked at the front of it, and when it came, I realised it was indeed the American version. But whatever. The boxes mostly look the same, so no big deal. But yeah, WWF Attitude. Had this back in the day. The game before it was Warzone, which I absolutely loved. I did play quite a lot of this with my brother and stuff. I was massively into WWF because, well, it was the Attitude Era. I grew up watching that. I cannot stomach today's product. Haven't been able to do it for a long time. It's utter garbage. Don't care what anyone says. It's so bad. But yeah, by the time this came along, it was a little bit outdated because it used such a strange control scheme. It was combinations. It wasn't just like grapple and then, you know, like strong grapple, weak grapple, and different moves within those grapples. It was like up, down, left, A, B for a DDT. You know, up, left, C, B for a suplex, and you know, left, left, right, A for an Irish whip. Such a bizarre control scheme that does not work today. Try playing these. It's really difficult if you're used to the more modern games. Yeah, but I think it was the first game I ever saw that had full 3D entrances. It may have been the first game to actually have them, but I remember watching through them all with my brother. We were fascinated by most of them. Most of them were hilarious, like Stone Cold's back then. Sophie just looks pissed up because he's stumbling all over the place. But yeah, I had fun memories, but it's a game that hasn't aged well. But it's super cheap. I mean, at this time, you know, we had way better wrestling games available, such as the amazing WCW vs NWO Revenge, and the even more amazing WrestleMania 2000. And then we got WWF No Mercy, which I've got to get that game. That's missing from my collection. That is still to this day the greatest wrestling game ever made. I don't care what anyone says. Greatest wrestling game ever made. So, yeah, that's WWF Attitude. They also, the same company went on, did the ECW games as well, which were crap, because again, there was the same engine, same control. Hardcore Revolution and Anarchy Rules, I think. I've got one of them on PlayStation. Yeah, Hardcore Revolution. You can see it right there. They were shit as well. Anyway, come on, let's move on. Oh, also, I got Castlevania on the N64. So yeah, just how Castlevania Was this one of the first 3D Castlevanias? I'm not sure. I remember I also rented this out at Blockbusters along with a few other games. I used to always do this for my birthday when I was younger, or occasionally on weekends I'd have a load of friends over and we'd like rent a bunch of games out, but we'd usually end up just playing one and we'd quickly skim through some of the others, and this was one of them that we just kind of skimmed through because we must have got something else at the time that was better. I sort of remember playing it, and I wasn't too impressed with it. It wasn't my sort of game at the time. I don't think it came out to super great reviews. It's not known for being a particularly great game, is it? But I've not played it, I don't think, since then, since I was a kid. So I'd have to go back and try this again at some point. There was a sequel as well, I think Legacy of Darkness, I want to say. If that's not the right name, it's somewhere along those lines. And I looked for it on eBay, and I couldn't find the fucker. At least not in the box. There was like German copies and like bootleg copies and like just the cartridge, but no, I couldn't find like a UK copy in the box. Could not find it, so I'll keep searching. But yeah, Castlevania, I've nothing really much else to say about that, but one for the collection. And also, here we go, we're on to the final two now actually. Donkey Kong 64, oh yeah, by the legendary Rare. This was Donkey Kong Country's first, it's actually not called Donkey Kong Country, is it? But it was the first 3D Donkey Kong game, weren't it? And I absolutely loved it. I never did beat it, and I've still never beat it to this day. I don't know, I think I got stuck. But I got very, very far, and I loved it, and I did recently replay it again, and I was enjoying it. Rare were just the masters of the platformers, the 3D collectathon style. This is one of their later games as well, coming towards the end of the N64, I think. I remember being super excited for this. I think I either got it for my birthday or Christmas, and I remember playing it the entire day. I thought it was brilliant. And yeah, remember you had the expansion pack for this game as well. A few games utilised that. Another one was Majora's Mask. But yeah, I remember. For some reason I seem to remember having a yellow cart, but I looked up, I can't have. It was only the American version that had the yellow cart for some reason. We got the grey one, but why do I have memories of having a yellow cart? I can't have, because I had the PAL version. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know why Americans got a yellow cart, but you know, Rare were a British, well, they still are, but we don't talk about Rare these days, you know. It's not the same Rare. Rare died the day Nintendo let them go. So yeah, Sea of Thieves. Yeah, Connect Sports. Good stuff. But yeah, can't close the box now, but that's Donkey Kong 64. Great game. Damn it, TV, go back on. Now. Jesus Christ, that were a struggle trying to get that box back together. It won't close for some reason. But I still haven't got it closed now. Got everything in properly though. Looks like the manuals were sticking out. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I need to get a protective box for this. But yeah, that's Donkey Kong 64. I think after this, they then did Conker's Bad Fur Day, didn't they? Which I will own again, and I will show you one of these episodes. But that game is expensive. Very expensive. But I'm gonna get it. I've got to get it. It's one of the most expensive N64 games, isn't it? So, I don't know if it is the most, but it's one of them. And I'll fucking own it. I will. You'll see it in one of these episodes. So yeah, Donkey Kong 64 out there. And then the final game, my best purchase, the most expensive one, but my favourite one. It is also by Rare. BanjoTooie. Of course, the sequel to the legendary Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, here they are. It's both of them, two of the greatest platformers ever made, and they're still phenomenal. They've aged incredibly well. I'll be the first to admit if a game hasn't aged well. I'm not just, you know, not just nostalgia and looking at things with rose-tinted glasses. No, these were legendary. I don't know which one I prefer most. Maybe the first, but they're both so good, just Rare at their best. Yeah. But BanjoTooie, I've not played this in a long time. I've replayed this because actually replaying not long on the Rare Replay collection. This is also in it as well, but I just know this one better because I've beat it way more times. But yeah, this is not a cheap game, but I got it like, it's almost mint condition. And I got it for quite a lot cheaper than it normally goes for. It was still pretty pricey. It's a pricey game, you're not going to ever find this cheap, but I got it quite a bit cheaper. Probably about maybe 20-30 quid cheaper than it usually goes for, actually. Because I was in this going for well over 100 quid. I did not pay over 100 quid, let's put it that way. But yeah, really happy. This is one of my best games in the collection. I mean, they're very small collection, but this is one of my most valuable ones right here. BanjoTooie. So I was really happy when I got this. It was a good buy. The next one, next big one, Offense 4, it is Conker's Bad Fur Day. I gotta get that. I gotta get that. But yeah, my favourite pickup so far, BanjoTooie. Oh yes! What is my N64 collection now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 N64 games. Yeah, still got a long way to go. The biggest collection is, it's a toss-up between PS2 and PS4. I got a shitload of those games right there. But they ain't retro, are they? Or is PS2 classed as retro now? I don't know, but when I think retro, I'm going back to these, you know. Well, it must be, because it's the same year as the Dreamcast, isn't it? But, you know, whatever. Yeah. I'm Super Nintendo, N64, Sega Mega Drive, that sort of stuff I'm thinking of retro-wise. That's the collection I want to build. So, yeah. Yeah, that's all the games right there for you. So, yeah, I think that's the best one yet. Got some good buys there. Some good games, all in great condition as well, all boxed and stuff. I'm going to try my absolute best for the next episode, episode 8. I don't know what it'll be, might be a little while. But I'm going to try and top this with even better games. So, that's going to be tough to do and very expensive. But I plan to do it. And I've kind of got a lot of the games in mind that I'm after. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's my game pickups. So, that's the end of this episode, guys. So, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you later.